And damn it, three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly. We'll do it from the top. I'm sorry. Three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search for Barb on all of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. So, Barb, what's in store for today's show?
Well, Richard, first of all, we're going to talk about kind of what the market's doing right now and really how to sell your home for the most money in Colorado in the fall. A lot of people think that there are selling seasons, but yes, there are more sales that go on during the spring and summer. However, we sell homes year round. In fact, many times some of my best months have been in the fall or even winter months. So I wouldn't discount the idea of selling off prime season because the people actually looking at that time, they're very serious and they are interested in buying a home, and you actually have less competition. So it's a great time to sell. The other topic we're going to cover is what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. Not all improvements actually result in a return on your investment. Generally, buyers are looking for cosmetic things. They want a house to be essentially move-in ready so they can drop their stuff and get on with their lives. But it really depends on pricing and how you position the home. So we'll talk about that. And then the third topic is how to get your home on the buyer's must-see list. We just had Zillow come to our company conference recently, and they coined the phrase screen appeal is the new curb appeal, which is absolutely true. The numbers went up to 100% of people start their search online. So if you don't win their hearts and minds online, it's over. They're moving on to the next house. So we'll talk about how to get there. And then the last topic is a very controversial topic, but it's fun for me. Do I need to pay a buyer's agent when purchasing a house in Colorado? It's very negotiable right now. There are some agents that are playing it in different ways. They're all still asking for 3%. They're asking the seller to pay them 3%. And it really, the way I view it is, it depends on the offer. If you make a strong offer, maybe the seller will be interested in paying your fee. But if they come in with these crazy lowball offers that are 50,000 below asking price, and they want to be paid 3% for doing that, it doesn't really put them in the hearts and minds of sellers as somebody they want to pay. So we'll talk about how that's working. We're right at a year since they implemented these changes, that the buyer's agent commission is no longer offered online anywhere, and the agent actually has to negotiate if they want to ask the seller to pay their fee. So that's making it very interesting and very fun. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, in this market, there are more homes on the market and it's taking longer to sell homes. What are the keys to getting the most money when you're selling your home in Colorado during the fall months?
Well, Richard, the market definitely has corrected a bit. And the way I look at it, this is all about supply and demand. As compared to 2 years ago, we have 50% more available homes, yet the number of sales going on is the same as it was last year and the year before. So that has not changed. So what that means is that you have more homes on the market and fewer buyers searching for those homes. So naturally over time, it could cause prices to drop. If homes are sitting on the market, they're looking backwards at historic sales, going, my home is worth this much, my home is worth that much. They go on the market and crickets, nothing happens. So the best way to deal with a correcting market, in my view, is to price it what I call very, very realistically versus optimistically. Just in El Paso County, we've seen the prices drop 2% just since May, which is really unusual. We're going from May to the end of summer and the fall, and prices are dropping. Normally, they go up at that time. And over 54% of home sellers are dropping their price. So again, it's supply and demand. So how do you do it? You have to be the best home on the block in all aspects. Now, the good news is we are seeing a little bit of correction on mortgage rates. As of the other morning, basically the rates are down by 0.75% in the past year. That's very good. Currently, conventional rates are about 6.5%. The government loans, VA, FHA, are in the low sixes, and you could bring in a little bit more down payment and buy your mortgage down. Now, the median list price is pretty much dropping across all of the Front Range counties. It's not just El Paso County. That's where I live, but I work in many counties. But what we're seeing in El Paso County, median list price dropped since May by 2%. The number of people dropping their price is 54%, and the inventory is higher. So what do you do in that situation? You got to be priced right. Same thing, it's actually worse in Douglas County. Since May, when the median list price was $865, right now it dropped down to $828.5. So that's $36,500 change in the median list price in Douglas County. And about the same numbers as far as the number of sellers dropping their price, over 55%. Inventory kind of flat, but I think Denver's market is getting hit a little bit harder than Colorado Springs. And I believe that usually that flow goes downhill. And we've seen that before, where Denver's market is getting hit, the prices are dropping or correcting a little bit, and Colorado Springs is kind of late to the party, but they will follow. So if you are on the market right now, the best thing to do is price it aggressively. Teller County, kind of more the same. The median list price dropped from $575 to $560,000 just since May. 56% of home sellers there have dropped their price, and the inventory is rising. Same thing in Pueblo. And I would say pretty much all along the Front Range, we're seeing that kind of correction. So part of that is that we've got more homes on the market. Everybody's, living in this hopium that the Fed's going to lower the rates. And it really hasn't happened much. There's only been about 0.25% change just since February. So it's not necessarily enough to get those home buyers that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for both price and rates to drop. And what I'm seeing on offers on my listings now is they're actually dropping. They're making pretty aggressive offers, both below asking price, asking for massive concessions. And oh, by the way, they want 3% commission while they're doing it. So if you're going on the market right now, it's important to be priced realistically. If you're not priced very realistically, your home is going to sit on the market, and the market's going to tell you immediately if you got it wrong. If you have very few showings and or very few offers, it's not the right price. And that's actually the biggest mistake, is to price too high. A lot of people will price their homes based on how much they think they're going to get out of the home to go on to buy their next house. And I wish it worked that way. I really do. It'd be a lot more fun. But the problem is, the market is the market. The market is what buyers are willing to pay for the home based on current market conditions right now. Like I have a home on the market that we got one offer, same day we're getting another showing. So I asked that agent, hey, is your buyer interested in this home too? She goes, no, they found other homes they're interested in. So that tells me more competition, right? So if you've got more competition, you have to be the best home on the block right now. And here's another problem that kind of sets the stage for this scenario, is that a majority of the agent population has never seen a correcting market. If you look back on the stats, 91% of agents turn over. In other words, they get out of the business every 5 years. Well, if you look back 5 years ago, 5 years ago was basically 2020, when aside from COVID, the market just exploded from that point, and we were flying high watching the clouds go by. Buyers had to compete for homes. There were bidding wars, that kind of thing. And that's not the case right now. In fact, what Zillow told us at the conference is 25 to 30% of buyers are canceling their contracts. And that's a huge disruption to the home sellers that have kind of already got the move in process. They're planning their move, they're packing, everything's going great. And then, oh, buyer bails out. And now we got to go back to square one and get a new buyer. That's really bad after you've already started packing. The other thing that I mentioned, that buyers agents are really trying to squeeze more money out of the deals, asking for concessions, asking for commission. And another factor, it's an outside factor, is that our MLS organizations, NAR and Pikes Peak and all of them, they commoditize a home for sale. They won't allow us to highlight anything that makes it special. As an example, let's say the seller has a VA loan, an assumable VA loan that could be assumed by any buyer at a very low interest rate. We cannot put that detail in the description, but it makes it the hottest listing in town if a buyer has the difference in down payment, because they walk into a payment that's half as much as what they would have paid at current rates. So those are the kind of things that really mess up the system right now. And I predict right now, Richard, that someday the National Association MLSs are going to go away. They're already getting overtaken by Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. Don't you think so?
I can see that happening. I mean, everything changes, and that is not a functional, it's not working, Barb.
It's not working. It's frustrating. And I have sellers tell me over and over again, I hate this system. It's the worst. I hate the process. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how to sell your home for the most money in Colorado in the fall. And we're going to come back and just spend a minute about what home sellers should be doing to get the most money in 2025. Richard?
We're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can reach Barb at 719-301-3900. So, Barb, what are things that home sellers must do in a correcting market to maximize the sales price when you're selling a Colorado home?
Well, number one, photos are absolutely important. I'm showing a photo right now of some agent that used her cell phone to take pictures. There was no staging. There's a cat litter box in the image. That was during the boom. And her solution was to tell the seller to lower the price, but that wasn't the problem. The price was already aggressive. She just didn't know how to present it. So there were thousands of buyers that rejected that property based on poor marketing. Don't let that happen to you. It's really, really important. Not all real estate agents are the same. Not all are going to invest in marketing that will make the buyer put that home on the must-see list. So hiring the wrong agent can cost you thousands. Being the best home on the block is absolutely critical. You need to hire somebody that knows how to do it, that knows how to market, that knows how to negotiate, that knows how to close the sale. You wouldn't believe how many second showings I have, Richard, where it's like they came back a second time and they didn't make an offer. What? Why not? Or the ones that blow up the deal over dumb stuff. Like I just had a deal blow up because the inspector dreamed up that there was mold in the house. They didn't test for mold. He just said, because it's been remodeled, there's been mold, which was crazy, and it scared the buyer away. So you want to make sure that you hire somebody that knows how to negotiate, how to price it realistically versus optimistically. Those are just some of the things, and we can help you do that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice, and she's with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach Barb at 719-301-3900. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing what to do and what not to do to get your Colorado home ready for sale. Stay tuned for that. Wow. There you go.
I'm repeating a whole show we did back in March, but it's got
I
today's
didn't,
twist.
you know what? I did not notice that. I mean, I can't argue with you, but
Today's spin on it.
In fact, I mentioned you today because Space Command. Oh, shoot.
Shoot.
Okay. Trump is going to make an announcement in a couple of minutes. He's doing a press conference from the Oval Office, and he will announce that Space Command is leaving Colorado Springs,
Oh boy,
to
that's
Huntsville,
bad.
Alabama. But what I was bragging about
That's
you
a bad
was,
thing.
yeah, it is. But I said, no matter what happens, here's the thing: Barb understands that there's going to be changes. Sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're not. But Barb understands where the military installations are. She understands what part of town are close to this base or this base. People might want to live there, etc. So, in a world of constant change, there is one northern light guiding star to Colorado Springs real estate. That is Twinkle Twinkle Little Barb Schlinker.
We
Yeah.
can pause if you want to watch this. I don't mind.
No, it'll be on here. We just had to juggle some things to make sure that we were able to carry it live. And I had been told, Jeff Crank told me on Sunday that this was going to happen, but he made me swear I wouldn't tell anybody. So I swore I wouldn't tell anybody, and I didn't tell anybody. But so I was waiting until noon, but somebody got the word. I think it was somebody back in Washington who maybe in the military knew about it or something. Could be down in Huntsville, Alabama, too. So the word got out about 2 hours ago. So, but my point was for people, no matter what goes on in the news, you're always looking at the news in terms of how that will impact purchasing or selling a home. That's how smart you are, dang it.
I wonder
That's
how
why you
many
are
jobs,
Barb Schlinker. That's why you are your real estate voice.
I'm wondering how many jobs that would impact here.
I'm trying. I went from that to this, and that's a good question. How much it's going to cost to move down there? A time frame. I think we're going to get answers to a lot of these things. Hopefully during the press conference. The one thing I want is that yes. So and so the thing is that this is not a great time to be making changes to anything with Taiwan and Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East. I just want to make sure that as he's doing this, we don't have any diminished downtime with the military. And I think he'll do that. I mean, they've found enough money from all of these things that were wasting our taxpayer money. They ought to be able to build good facilities down there and keep this one up and going until they make the change. But you're right, because you've got properties all over the place where people, they want to go to Fort Carson, they want to go to Nora, they want to go out to Pete or Schriever, like JD was saying here. So, okay, I'm ready for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on AI. I was just looking at it.
Got my letters backwards there, my initials. Why did I say that? Oh, Juris Doctorate, I guess. So you'll end up getting a law degree based on what I just said. All right. You good to go, Barb?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Count us down in 3, 2, 1. I'm Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. It's the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker. She is also the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're going to be talking about what to do and what not to do when you're getting ready to sell your Colorado home. Let's start by talking about the strategy.
Yeah. So number one is to pick a selling strategy, because that really helps you determine where you're going from there. Like last week, I met with a home seller that has an investment property, and he doesn't want to put any more money in it. So he wants to go as is, right? So we can help him with that. That means it's not going to be all the fancy photos and staging. It's going to be get an investor in there to buy the home and make it happen quickly. And so it's a totally different type of sale. Many of those sales happen off market. They don't go on the local listing service. And that's one of the benefits that we offer our VIP buyers is they can actually bid on these homes that don't go on the market. And it's a pretty cool thing. So we have cash investors, we have local investors, we have local people that want rental properties, we have all kinds of things. So it's really, really important that you know your strategy first before you go on the market, because that will help you decide whether or not you're going to do the things that you need to do to compete in a higher inventory market with lower amount of sales. So number one is get all of the 4 P's right. The P's are picking the right agent. Number 2, preparation, getting your house ready for sale based on your strategy. I just sold a home in Briargate where their strategy was an inherited home, was to go as is. It did have deferred maintenance. It did have some broken stuff, but they didn't want to invest any money in it. So they priced it right. They took my suggestion, priced it what I call very realistically versus optimistically. We had a huge crowd at the intro open house. We ended up having 4 competing offers, and it ended up selling for 20,000 over asking. We actually got an offer 20,000 higher than that, but they didn't accept that offer because they felt like they're going to have to fix more things, and that wasn't in their selling strategy, but they still did very well. And then pricing is absolutely critical. Here's the thing, I believe the buyers know more about pricing than most real estate agents. I don't mean that to insult real estate agents. I'm just saying they're actively looking in their price range right now. And a lot of people assume the agents know every price range in every neighborhood, and they don't. They're only focused on what they're working on at the time. Well, it's the same with buyers. Buyers are very focused on what they're looking for at the time in the area, in the size, in the price point. They know it like the back of their hands. If you talk to buyers about certain areas or neighborhoods that they're searching, they're like, yep, I know that home. I saw that go on the market. Even sellers, they're really, really tracking their local market, probably more than a real estate agent would, is because they're more generic. Like they're not going to focus on a particular area until they get a client that's focused on that particular area, and then they may do it. But even then, they may not really know it quite as well. So as a home seller, you've got to make sure your home is presented to the market to make your home stand out amongst the 50% more available homes as being the best priced home and the best presented home, because otherwise they will not leave their fuzzy bunny slippers to go see that house. That's just how it is. And the market's going to tell you immediately if you miss something, either price or marketing. They just won't show up. It's that simple. You won't get a big crowd at the open house. You'll get onesies, twosies showings. That's the problem. So you don't want to do that. So don't just guess on real estate agents. The statistics are sad to me that in 2024, 71% of real estate agents sold 0 homes. 0. It's like, wow, why did they pay for dues unless they just wanted a tax write-off? So you want to pick the right person that knows your neighborhood, that is actively selling homes, that knows the market and actually understands how to present your home in the best possible light. And many will tell you they don't really know. There's actually no predetermined way to pick a real estate agent. Most home sellers don't sit down and interview real estate agents, or if they do, they don't know what to say. They make a decision based on, well, I kind of like that person. They were nice, whatever, but are they the best person to handle one of the largest assets that you're going to sell? So you want to, the right decision basically is based on who you think is the one that can help you meet your goals, right? And we have a really good free report that we offer on our website. It's called the Free Agent Selection Guide. You can go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on the green button to download it, and we'd be happy to send that right out to you. Okay, another important tip. is regardless of your selling strategy, make sure the home is very, very clean. You'd be surprised at the little dumb things that make a buyer turn their nose up at a house. So clean the carpets. A lot of people say, well, can't we just give a flooring credit, or can't we, why are they worried about that? Well, it curb appeal is the thing that most people spend the most time on before they start searching for homes. But it's kind of subliminal. If they come in, and even though a lot of things have been updated, something's not updated, or something looks broken or dirty or whatever, they're just not gonna, they're gonna say it needs too much work, and they're not gonna be very specific about what that is. So cleaning is one very important piece of that. And you have to make it almost look like a model home. So clear out rugs, pick up little throw rugs, everything off the counters, minimize the furniture. All these things really make homes look better. I think there's an assumption out there as far as depersonalizing homes that you have to put away everything that has to do with you, the person. I don't think that's necessary, although some people really overdo it. Like I've been in homes where a whole entire wall is covered with their life story, which is great for them living there. But if you're selling it, you have to position the home so that they visualize their family living there. So it's okay to have one or two small pictures of the family, but certainly not the whole entire thing. And so that's just kind of sticking your toe in on getting your house ready, and what to do and what not to do to get ready for sale. And we actually offer this free in-person consultation on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. And we'll take a look at the room. We even bring in professionals to help you do that. So you have a checklist room by room by room to get it done. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. And when we come back, we're going to pick up on some more tips to do just that. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com and download that free agent selection guide. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Remember, you can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms, plus Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900. Now, Barb, we're talking about that top 15 tips to sell your home for top dollar. What are the other tips?
Well, when you're showing, as well as when you're taking pictures, you want to let the light in. Open the blinds, open the curtains. Some people have really heavy, dark blinds in certain rooms, especially in your entertaining rooms. I would just take those down. Just, you want all the blinds open, all the curtains open. You want to let the light in as much as possible. Also, bedding. A lot of people have kind of heavy, dark colored bedding. You want light, bright, neutral bedding. Remove excess furniture. Now, it's hard for people to understand what's excess and what's not. But we help you do that. But in general, the easiest way to do it yourself is to take a camera, turn it horizontal, take a picture of the room, and blow it up either on your iPad or on a computer. And it's going to speak right back to you if the room is too full of stuff. Also consider staging your home. Now, what does that mean? There's a lot of different definitions of staging. I see many, many homes on the market that are presented to the market completely empty. And I think that's kind of doing the seller a disservice, in my view, because there's a certain, in my opinion, there's a certain segment of the population that and I'm one of them, if I look at an empty room, I could not tell you what to do with it. I'm not a decorator. I have to hire people to help me do that stuff. But even just looking myself, if I look at an empty room, I can't visualize it as a home or a family room or a bedroom. So I really think it's important to consider staging a house, or even doing it digitally, which is part of what we do with our services. And just so you know, according to the National Association of Realtors, home sellers command anywhere from 3 to 15,000 more money on a staged home versus a not staged home. And we offer different methods of staging. Sometimes we work with what you have to try to position the home to look its best. Sometimes we bring in pieces, and sometimes we virtually do it. And not all real estate agents are the same. Not all people do it. Another thing that's really important that you do is make sure you do your homework based on pricing. If you don't price it right, I don't care how good the marketing is, they're not going to come. It's just how it is. It's probably a 70% piece of the sales process. If it's priced right, they will come. And if it's priced right, they will forgive little showing flaws or little staging flaws. But if it's not priced right, you can't even get them to come and take a look at it, because most people, 100% now, eliminate homes based on the online presentation. So if you don't hire the right team to get that right, or if you're doing it yourself, or if you hire somebody that doesn't invest in professional marketing photos, the buyers will eliminate it and they won't even go see it. And most agents don't even study this. They just focus on, okay, I got a listing, I'm going to get some pictures done and I'll put it on the market and do what I call post and hope. Hope somebody else has a buyer. That's kind of how it works, but that's not how we work. Our job is to attract all the buyers in the home buying market that we can for that property in order to get you the most money. And we recently helped John and Ann sell their home for $50,000 over asking price, because he listened to my show. He did everything right. He priced it very realistically, and he ended up getting 50,000 over asking. And by the way, he only paid the buyer's agent 2%. So you can do it if you position the home the right way. And you want to make sure you hire an agent that has some buyers. I'll give you a little secret. If you go up on Zillow, you'll see that little green button that says, hey, click here to view this home. A lot of people think when they click there, they're getting a listing agent. Guess what? They're not. They're getting some random agent that's paying for leads, right? So what you're going to get is what I call a Pop-Tart agent. Is you click that button, some random agent that doesn't know the house says, I'll show it to you, I'll show it to you. And they haven't even verified that that buyer can buy or what that buyer wants, and so it's a problem. So you want to make sure you hire somebody that knows how to really convert that buyer into a customer. Most sellers don't want to waste time opening up their home for unqualified buyers or buyers that don't want a home like that. And we have solutions for all of these problems. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. You can download a checklist report on what to do and what not to do to get the most money when you sell your home. Go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. It's the radio show, and Barb is your real estate voice. If you're thinking of selling your home and you want to get the most amount of money when you sell, call Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to get your home on the buyer's must-see list. Barb has that answer. Everything. So damn smart. Okay. 1 second. Oh.
And Saturday's game is at night against Utah State, so it will not affect your broadcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out of town the very last couple days of September.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to have a chance to record.
Well, we can just plan to do a rerun, even if it was we used last week's. Last week was generic enough that we could.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know about this week so far, but
I'm gonna go to Rhode Island.
very nice.
It's a office tour of one of my colleagues is just killing it.
So you got to take some notes.
Oh yeah, hopefully I'll implement it. So it's like I leave on the 29th and I'm gone all that week. So I probably won't record that week.
Yeah, that's all right. That's why we have at least a couple generic ones so that we can keep everybody afloat.
Yeah, I mean I try to keep it fresh, but
And, but I mean, there has to be a certain amount of flexibility.
yeah.
And you take very few breaks compared to some of the other shows that I've recorded over the years.
Oh really?
Yep.
I'm a hard worker.
Well,
You are. Oh my God.
Took 2 weeks out of the month and just
2 weeks out of the month. Oh boy.
Just about every month we were scrambling around looking for something new to play.
That makes for a boring show, huh?
Well, I mean, to some degree they were keeping it fresh because during those times off they would actually develop content
Yeah.
to use, but if it's that frequent, it makes it a lot harder for keeping it fresh. That's why I know how to swap out segments and move things around to make it sound a little bit different.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You don't make me do that very often.
No, I try not to.
Yeah, you're great.
Oh,
Red Bull?
Yes. I try to do all of whatever I'm going to drink. I try to drink it before 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
I gotcha.
It's helped a little bit in terms of going to sleep, but
If I have any caffeine after 1, I am up till 3 o'clock in the
are
morning.
you really?
Yeah.
How about you,
just
Barb?
can't.
on the caffeine front?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to slow it down. I don't, every once in a while I'll have tea in the afternoon if I'm working on something, and it will keep me up, but I wake up anyway.
I gotta say, the last time I'm trying to think, and see, I take too much stuff to sleep. I'm not supposed to take as much. I take like 3 Advil PM and then 4 Unisom.
Wow.
And there's some ingredient, well, it's over the counters, but there's some ingredient in there that's supposed to make you more susceptible to getting dementia. So I keep a close eye on that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. All I do, if I wake up at night, I just watch boring stuff on YouTube and it puts me right back to sleep.
All right. Well, this is not going to put you to sleep. Segment 3.
That's who I was talking about. Look at her. Doesn't she look like she's fresh out of high school?
She looks like she is absolutely fresh out of high school. I just,
Who's that?
well, it's the noon anchor on KKTV. And I have to say, I understand it. There are going to be a lot of people, most of the people I was in television with when I was at KKTV were incredibly good. Some of them went to bigger markets. Some of them had come down from bigger markets, Denver and stuff, to be here. I came down in market to be here because I wanted to live here. But there just comes a certain point in your life when you're in television, even if you're like the main people, like Wayne and Sylvia Jennings, you're still not going to make enough money between the two of them, even to raise a family. So they both ended up quitting, and actually they do real estate now.
Yeah, they've been in real estate for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I know that that's not their first choice, but you got to make money. So in fact, there's like 4 or 5 people I know from television. Dave Downey is doing real estate. Jeff Ryder is doing real estate. But the point is now I look at who they have on the air, and the woman looks like literally she just came out of high school, And I know what it is. They don't pay enough to get anybody very talented to do it. And you're willing to, I mean,
You're trying out for the county assessor the job though, right?
yeah. I think I told, well, real quick story. So I'm a anchor reporter at WAND in Central Illinois. And one of the other anchors there, he never washed his clothes. He would save up for a month, get in the car, drive to Wichita, Kansas to see his parents. They would wash his clothes, and then he would come back. And he was driving a really nice, I think a Mercedes it was, or something like that. But he wasn't doing any of this on the money that he was making from television. His parents were subsidizing the whole thing. And that was a lot of people. People don't, I mean, people just think you make a lot more money in media than you really do. All right. I got us ready to go. Barb, you good?
I'm good.
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. I'm Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're talking about one of people's largest assets, that is the home. Many people have stayed on the sideline, decided not to buy because of the rates or the prices are just too high. So, Barb, there are ways to make homes more attractive and affordable to buyers. Tell us about them.
Well, I will say that when the rates went up, which was the middle of 2022, many buyers gave up because, at the end of the day, most people don't pay cash for homes, right? So they're going to have to get a mortgage to be able to afford it. So it's all about the payment, right? So if the rates went up, the payment went up. So that's where a lot of the buyers kind of dropped off and they gave up, they quit buying. But some of them have, to their credit, moved back in with their folks or moved into an inexpensive apartment and started saving money for a down payment, which I think is a good idea. But as a home seller, you can actually offer incentives and be kind of like the builders. So if you know what some of the builders are doing, they'll go and get kind of bulk financing at lower rates. A lot of these builders are doing that, and they're saying, hey, we can get you in the door with a 5% rate. We'll cover $24,000 of your closing cost, or you can use that to buy down the rate some more, or maybe buy extras in the house, like an extra appliance or something like that, cover all your cost. And so they're helping these buyers walk in the door to buy the home. And it's great because not only by looking at their models can the buyers visualize themselves living there, even though the house that they're buying might be in the framing stage, it may not be done just yet. That's a really big carrot to get them in the door, that they're getting in with a lower payment. They're getting the house that they want. It's brand new. They can sometimes customize it to their needs, and it would cover any excess cash that they need to make it happen. And there are a lot of benefits to home ownership. I think in general, people know that your monthly payment stays relatively stable, except for property taxes and or homeowners insurance could go up just a little bit, not a whole lot. Versus if you were to rent, you don't really have control over whether or not that rent is going to go up. At the same time, over time, not instantly, but over time, home values do tend to rise. So even though we're having a little slight softening correction going on right now, if you zoom out to 5 years, the prices are going to go up. Even if you look back 2 years, the prices have gone up. It's just they haven't gone up 6 or 8 or 10% like we saw between 2020 and 2022. And some studies have shown that the people that own homes have more net worth than those that don't. And I'm meeting with people in all different areas, all different price ranges, that this is their number one investment, making their house payment. And they've waited 20, 30 years to sell their home. And now they've got a decent nest egg to go to their next destination and pay cash, which is really puts them in a strong position net worth wise. So what if a buyer has a house to sell? Most real estate agents don't really have a solution for that. So what happens is the seller goes, okay, Mr. Seller, I want to buy your house, but I want you to take your house off the market and wait for me to sell mine. And oh, by the way, mine isn't even on the market yet. Will you please do that, Mr. Seller? Well, most of them, I mean, they think about it. Some of them think, okay, well, that's the market. Maybe I should tolerate it. But the problem is there's no certainty to it. There's no closing date to it. So it really puts the seller into a weak position. At the same time, if you notify the listing service that you've accepted a contract like that, all the other buyers think it's not available, and it creates demand destruction. It does not work. So with our proprietary cash offer system, we could take any address in the country, put it up on that cash offer platform, and spit out at least 6 to 10 offers on that home so that they could buy your home without having to sell their existing home. In other words, we can get them a cash buyer right out of the way. And that takes rid of that gets rid of that home sale contingency. Also, if they have equity, a couple of those investors will allow them to, they will provide like a bridge financing just using their equity without making payments. So those are really good things that could help a home buyer make that transition from one house to another. And we're seeing more and more buyers make offers and ask for the home seller to pay their closing cost. Now, how much closing costs? That's a whole different thing. I recently saw an offer that came in where they asked almost $20,000 of closing costs to be paid by the seller. So think about it. The seller's paying commission, taxes, title. They came in with a lowball offer, and the buyer's agent wanted 3%, and they wanted 20,000 in concessions, and they came in 10,000 off the asking price. And she called it a win-win. I'm like, well, who's winning here? Only your buyer, not the seller. And the problem is, from the time they accept a contract, then they move forward with repairs. There's no benefit to the seller of doing that. It's just to get them to the finish line. So I call that kind of a zero-sum gain type negotiation. That's why I spend so much time on the show talking about how you can prepare your home for sale so there aren't any big surprises on the inspection, because that one, unfortunately, is the worst surprise that home sellers get, right? They go on the market, they think their house is great. The buyer's inspector does an inspection and makes up stuff about the house or is wrong about the house. And the problem is the buyer believes that, which could derail the buyer from wanting to buy the house altogether, or put the seller through hoop jumps just to verify whether or not the inspector is right. So it's really important that you don't overprice just for this negotiation. Don't build it in, because it could mean that that little bit of price increase for quote negotiating room could either cause your neighbor's house that's on the market to sell, or the buyers not to show up at all. So what about some other cost? Like, you can actually in negotiation go up in price if the buyer wants a lot of closing costs. Like if they want to use some cash that they don't have to buy down their interest rate. First of all, who says the seller has to pay it? Why can't the lender pay it? The lenders are making just as much as the agents are in this deal, right? Why can't they get in there and help? Excuse me. So, but you can go up in price and offset the cost, right? And then commission. They always asking the seller to pay 3% commission. It is negotiable. And if you are the best home on the block, you know what? You can negotiate on commission as well. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how you can position your home to be put on the must-see list for home buyers. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about what you need to do to find out about these homes that are on the must-see list. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We offer free in-home consultations on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale. We'll show you what your current competition will be. We'll give you a really good idea what your home will sell for in this market. and how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. It's a free service. You're never obligated to sell. Just call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. I have over 28,270 buyers in waiting just on my little website. And coupled with the marketing that I do on other platforms, typically I can match over 1,000 buyers for any one property. And we're marketing directly to those buyers to get as many as possible in the home to look at your home. And that's one of the ways that we get home sellers the most money. Richard?
So, Barb, we're talking about how to motivate buyers to put their home on that must-see list. That's where you want to be to get the greatest amount of money. What are the particulars of those offers?
Well, first of all, Richard, we have some roadblocks in our systems. One of them is the National Association of Realtors MLS websites. They have all these rules. One of the rules is we cannot advertise any home online unless it's already in the MLS. And then most of these MLS systems, and there are 1,500 different ones across the country, they're all different software and they don't talk to each other. They all have different, really stupid rules. And for the agent that's in that market to put a home online, they have to put it in that MLS system. And many times the MLS is telling us how to market. Now, none of them have a marketing degree, just so you know, but they have these rules that will tell us you cannot put anything financial in the public description. You can't do that. You can't put that the seller's offering an assumable VA loan with a really low interest rate. You can't do that either. We can't even put in there that the seller is offering a warranty on their systems and appliances for a year after closing. They have all these really dumb rules that are kind of in the sales destruction business for some reason. Now, we found a way around it. We found an MLS system that I drive to all the websites where the buyers are. So I make whatever marketing phrases that I need to say, that the seller's offering incentives, that the lender's offering incentives, that the seller's offering a home warranty, that the listing agent's offering a home warranty, that the VA loan might be assumable. We can put all those things that are guarantees. Buy this home, I'll buy yours. I can put all those marketing phrases on the websites where the buyer's eyes are, even though I get slapped around by a local MLS service for doing those things. But that's okay. I don't mind. I will find a way around it because my goal is to help my clients get the most money and get that home put on the must-see list for the buyers. Now, it's not very easy to qualify for a loan. Typically what the lenders will do is they'll take a look at the buyer's gross monthly income. And in general, you can go to about almost half of their gross income can be in the form of debt. That includes house payment, mortgage payment, credit card, all that stuff, car payment if they have that. So to put that in perspective, at the current rates right now, if you're buying a $400,000 house, which is not high end in this market, with zero down, your payment's going to be $2,900 a month. Well, that's higher, probably $500 to $700 a month higher than what it would cost to rent a home like that right now, right? So the buyers have to make a decision. Well, I could probably save $700 a month renting versus, really, squeeze my budget and own a home. Now, a lot of people really want to own a home because they know about the long-term values of it, but it helps if they make more of a down payment. That's why I'm seeing more buyers save for down payments now. But you can get into homes even these days with zero down, even if you don't qualify for VA or FHA. There are down payment assistance programs. There are conventional loan programs where you can put zero down, 3% down, 5%, 10%. They're all out there for the buyer to consume. And we're just aligning right now with a really great mortgage banker rather, that can help these buyers get into homes. But you can, as a home seller, be like a builder and incentivize these buyers to want to come and put your home on their must-see list. I know how to do that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and we'd love to help you. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is your real estate voice. And if you're thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719 301 3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing, do you need to pay a buyer's agent when purchasing a home here in Colorado? Barb has that answer. Stay tuned. No, do not touch that. Get back in the car. All right.
No biting.
There we are. Still nothing. He's really running behind at the White House.
Well, Twitter made up the story that he passed away.
I know. I saw that over the weekend. You know what's creepy is, and I don't remember where I found it, but
3 comedians regurgitated it. By the way.
oh yeah, there was a woman I saw somewhere about a week ago, and she had predicted a bunch of things, and they had, according to her, had come true. She was saying that she had a vision or something that President Trump died on September 3rd. And I just didn't give much, thought to it one way or another. And then when I started seeing these reports of him, being sick or dying or whatever, I'm like, whoa, hold on. What was this woman saying? So
Healthy.
I know. And you know what? It is so funny that they, focus in on his health after they didn't pay attention to the fact that they had a zombie at best, walking through the presidency with the auto pen. That was okay.
Auto pen.
Now he's got swollen ankles or a blue mark on his wrist.
The zombie.
Well, they're saying that about Trump. I'm like, oh my God, you know what?
Who gets to see his ankles?
I know, right? I mean, what is wrong
Not
with
like he's
people?
going to the beach. He goes to the golf course.
Right? And
That's quite a workout, by the way, for an 80s.
well, and they were saying that he was dead, and I'm like, hold on. I remember seeing video. He's got this gorgeous granddaughter, Kai, who golfs all the time, and I'm like, I saw it was either Saturday, or I think it was Saturday, maybe Sunday. They were at his golf club and they were going to go golfing. I'm like, how does a dead man go golfing? I'm like, okay, well, now that he did that, these stories will stop. They didn't stop. I mean,
It's weekend at Bernie's.
yeah. I do think that's the case, DJ. I think they're trying to make up for, well, Biden, Trump's no worse than Biden was.
Prop him up in the corner.
Yeah.
Nobody will know the difference.
I'm like,
Right.
not at all. And I can tell that because what they had a photograph of Biden's ankle. And I'm like, why do you have a photograph of his ankle? Because it's not swollen like Trump's. Okay, whatever.
Oh, that now all of a
Because
sudden
he's
doctors.
I'm more concerned about the damn brain than some of these ankles, but whatever. I'd like to see some of these people on ankle monitors.
Ankle monitors.
Crockett woman. Oh my God. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Richard Randall, welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most home buyers are searching on those big national websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. But is that really the best way for home buyers to find the best homes here in Colorado? And do they need to hire a buyer's agent to purchase a home here in Colorado?
Well, Richard, I get calls all the time from buyers, and most of them say they're working with an agent, but their agent isn't finding them homes. And it's like, well, I feel like saying, what if I told you that you could have access to all of these homes that you see online? You don't need the real estate agent to get you in that door. But whatever, they're friends. Everybody knows a real estate agent. There's really one on every corner practically. So, but actually there's about 1/3 of the homes that are sold off market for cash that the buyers never have access to if they don't have the right connections to get into those homes. And some of the best deals never reappear on the market. I sold a home not too long ago, earlier in the spring, where we had a bidding war on that house. Great home in a great location, perfect condition. And buyer number one made the best offer, but turned out they were over their skis as far as them being able to perform. So they bailed out, and we never went back on the market. We went back to the other 6 buyers that had made an offer, and one of those buyers ended up getting the house. So many times these kind of things happen. There are quite a few home sellers that choose to sell their home by owner, electing to save the commission, right? But what commission are they really saving? Because sometimes they might do that, but they're still going to end up, there's going to be some agent, sneaking themselves in there going, oh, this is my buyer, will you pay me a commission? So I don't think they're saving that much. And many times the statistics bear out that they end up netting less money when they do it that way. And buying a home in general, as well as selling a home, it's filled with a lot of emotions. It's a huge investment, both for the buyers and sellers. So we're going to talk about, some ways that home buyers can avoid making mistakes to pick the right house. And what are some of the costs associated with buying a home? First of all, the buyer really needs to know what is their price range, what can they afford? And that would start by aligning themselves with a really good mortgage broker. We have a great one that will give the buyer all kinds of financing incentives where you don't have to beat up on the seller to get closing costs. You can actually get it from the lender and still get a great rate and still get the home that you want. And I predict that between now and probably next May, whenever the current Fed steps down, or maybe a few months after that, next summer, we're going to see the rates start to come down substantially. And then a lot of these sideline buyers, they're going to come out and you're going to have to compete with them, and it's going to be driving the prices up. So I always recommend to buyers, don't wait, find the right house now, and just be prepared to refinance when the rates drop. And we have people that can help you get access to the best financing now. A lot of these lenders are offering basically a free refinance when the rates drop. And that's probably the best way to do it, is what I think. And having your financing ready to go is like carrying a big stick. The lender that we work with offers an appraisal guarantee. So what does that mean? That means that if some third-party licensed appraiser comes in and says that home is not worth that much, right? The seller doesn't have to worry about it. It's almost like shopping with cash, in that this lender is going to guarantee that no matter what the appraiser says, they're going to do a loan on that house and we're going to get to the finish line. That's a really great incentive to have when you're making offers on homes. It makes your offer stronger. It gives you the opportunity to negotiate a bit more if it's one less thing to worry about. 2 years ago, I sat down with a home seller and I was so proud of myself because he listened to what I said. He priced it right. We had a huge crowd at the open house. So we sat down. I had 6 offers to present to him. And he was this retired infantry officer, kind of a gruff guy. And I was so excited. I had 6 offers. And they were a little bit higher. A couple of them were a little bit higher than asking price. And I presented them to him. And I said, isn't this great? Isn't this fun? And he looked at me and he says, no, I told you to get me the most money, Barb. How are you going to do that? I kind of started to sweat and freak out and go, oh my God, okay. You know what? I know what I'll do. So I went back to the other top 2 buyers and basically gave them a chance to make their best and highest offer. This is something that the corporate sellers do all the time when they have competing offers, is they ask for a second round best and highest. And you'd be surprised, the buyers come up again from what, even though they knew they were up against competition before, they raised their price again. And we ended up getting another $20,000 out of that deal. Okay. But if you have a really strong offer, if you're positioning yourself as a buyer to be the best buyer for that house, chances of you negotiating or beating out competition is a much higher situation. So what about this commission thing? So the whole reason this National Association of Realtors settlement thing took place is that commissions became very fixed and almost non-negotiable. Before a year ago, we had to advertise how much the seller was willing to pay in terms of buyer agent commission in the multiple listing service, and it was 100% non-negotiable. If that agent, if they brought you the buyer that closed, didn't get paid that much, they could take you to the MLS police and book you, and they were going to get paid no matter what. The problem was some of those real estate companies actually had policies built into their training that said, hey, agent, if you don't offer at least this much commission, the agents are going to steer around your home and not show it to their buyers. Now, at the end of the day, the buyers nowadays are deciding what home they're going to go see. So the initial thought was, okay, well, we'll just advertise how much commission is being offered by the home seller and let the buyer decide whether or not they're being steered around. But that wasn't good enough. So the National Association and all these different entities under the National Association started getting sued. And this thing was turning like a snowball, growing and growing down the hill. And there were more and more of these class action lawsuits popping up all across the country for antitrust and price fixing. So the final settlement was the National Association said, all right, fine. We concede. They paid a huge amount of money, and they stopped all that litigation. But there were two rules that came out of it. One of them was that when a agent was to show a house, they had to have in writing how much their commission was, but not necessarily how they got paid. So they don't know how they're going to get paid because we no longer allowed to advertise how much a seller might be willing to pay a buyer's agent anywhere online. They're just guessing. Now, what the state of Colorado did is they put it as the last paragraph in the contract where you could negotiate the fee. So the buyer could ask the seller to pay their buyer agent commission, but it is negotiable, right? And what I've seen in the past year is almost all of them are asking for 3%. Very few have come in and asked for less. Okay, but most of them are asking for 3%. But the seller has an opportunity to counter back and go, no, I'm not going to pay 3%. I might pay 2.5%. I might pay 2%. I actually had one home seller only offer 2%. Now he had competing offers on his home. He priced it very realistically. We had 4 offers, all of which went $50,000 over asking price. And the one buyer agent that insisted on getting 3%, his buyer didn't get the house. So guess what happens, Richard? A couple weeks later, the seller gets this anonymous letter, postmarked up in Denver, which is where this agent was. It was obvious it was an agent that wrote the letter talking smack about me and how she's all about her commission and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why he did that, but I think what happened, I'm just guessing now, is that his buyer was not happy with him because that agent got in between his buyer getting the house, right? Because he insisted on getting the seller to pay 3%. Now, I don't know why the buyer's agent didn't have enough negotiating skills to say my fee is 3%, seller's paying 2%, then you owe me 1 more, right? He could have done that. It was a cash buyer. They had plenty of money, but he didn't do that. Instead, he stood his ground. His buyer didn't get his house and he got fired. So there's different ways to do it now. And I think it's so much fun because there's nothing wrong with a buyer paying the fee. So the buyer could go up in price to get their fee covered as long as the house appraises. So that's another option as well. So in my view, not a whole lot has changed except that the buyer's agent fee is a lot more negotiable. And the obvious question really from a buyer should be, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, I want to buy a house. You want me to sign an agreement that you make 3%. What are you going to do for me for that? right? So what most agents are doing right now is they're just beating the heck out of the seller on price and concessions and trying to get stuff. That's what they think brings value to the table. And I think it's a mistake if they don't get the house. And it does put them in the middle. So it's really interesting. It's also a lot of fun. And not everybody knows how to articulate the value that they bring. Some people think they do it that way. Some people might do it in other ways. But at the end of the day, our number one objective is to meet our clients' goals. It's not about commission. And you have to keep that in mind at the end of the day. And we actually help our buyers. We help our buyers negotiate to get their fee. And we offer what we call a VIP home buying service for our buyers, where they get insider access to all the homes available, even ones that are not online. And you could find out more about that if you go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. So, Barb, what are some other things that home buyers should consider to find the very best homes for sale here in Colorado?
Well, I'm not sure why, but what the MLS is teaching us is set up an electronic search for your buyers. So you just keep sending them houses that they already have access to that they could see. And to me, that's not very special. We need to sit down and find out what they're looking for. And then we need to go find it. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're a home finder service. And most agents just, tell them to go look at Zillow, or better yet, if I'm holding an open house on that house, they will tell their buyer to go to the open house. And if they like it, let them know. And then they could sit in their fuzzy bunny slippers at home and write a 10-minute contract and make 3% commission. And they don't even go. So I see a lot of that, and it's unfortunate. And I think, the buyer has to really be given great services, like finding distress sales, finding homes that might need some work, homes that might be ready to lower their price. There are different strategies that we can deploy to find our buyers the best deal. And if you are thinking of doing that, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you've got some really hot new listings for us this week. Tell us about them.
I do. I have really great home in Woodland Park on Highway 24 at $299. A great home owned by the VA. Special financing available in Fountain at $342,500. Great home down in Pueblo with a pool, believe it or not, at $369 on 13th. A couple of really great homes in Rush, one at $374 on 2 acres and one at $465 on 9 acres. Great home in Old Colorado City that can be used as an Airbnb on Tower Road. Fabulous home in Pueblo, a ranch with a finished basement and prestigious walking stick at $565. An amazing home out in Peyton on Capitol Peak Way, priced at $574,999. Gorgeous floor plan with a finished basement. Beautiful 2-story with a 3-car garage in Briargate on Coberdale. Another one in Briargate on Zurich at $454,999. Spectacular home in Rock Rimmon on Big Valley Drive at $699 with a separate man cave 3-car garage. Beautiful home in Broadmoor Bluffs that backs to open space at $684,999. And a couple of amazing custom homes, one on Wild Roads Drive in Canyon City, priced at $125 million, over 5,000 square feet, great views, beautiful home, lots of custom things to it, as well as one on 16145 Open Sky Way, $2,095,000 on 4 acres, gorgeous views, beautiful home with a main level master, and a beautiful piece of land on Hidden Valley, and more coming soon. One on 1 acre in town, and another Southeast rancher under $300,000. To find out about more properties, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker. The program airs every Saturday from 11 until noon, right after Kudlow. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb. The number is 719-301-3900. Or as always, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. That'll do it for this weekend, Barb. You be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. Okay. Which
Did I
one?
go too long?